introduction to Mr. Anil Saini. He's the head of Automotive Design Studio at Tata Consultancy Services, and he's a graduate in mechanical engineering and postgraduate in industrial design from IIT Mumbai. Mr. Anil has held various positions in last 34 years of working experience at Bajaj Auto Limited, Design Matters and PTC, and General Motors and TCS. A very warm welcome from the Cartist Festival 2020. Over to you, Mr. Anil.
Right, thank you. All right. So, good afternoon again, everyone. Let's get started. What we are going to talk today is the symbiotic relationship of car, art, and design. These three things depend a lot on each other. With a background of society in that, and we'll see a little more of that later. But it'll be excellent to see how they depend on each other. And I thought this would be a good befitting start to the Cartist, which is the confluence of the car and art. And we are designers, the applied artist, and we'll talk about that. How our role fits into this whole scenario of car, art, and design. So if you go back in history, and not really, history, near history, it's huge leap into the history, 17,000 years back. And here are the images from the Lasso cave, the cave paintings. You can appreciate, the amount of detailing that is done there. The dynamism of these animals is so wonderfully captured, as if Hussain has painted them. So, and also the mobility aspect. So if you see the human history, the mobility and art has been in their mind, or has been always part of our civilization for ad infinitum. And if you look at the relationships of these three, art, design, and mobility, or car, I'll continue to call mobility and car interchangeably, because it's not only about the car but also about the mobility in general, with the backdrop of us there, or the society there. So they kind of keep talking to each other always. Sometimes two of the elements would be talking to each other more. So we'll see these examples and these relationships more, and which is what this presentation is all about. So I'll pick up on a simpler case, which is coming from 1930s, 40s, where the Piet Mondrian, one of the Dutch painter, very very famous Dutch painter, he started that was a start point of the D style movement, which influenced a lot to the artifacts, etc. So this is Piet Mondrian, and I'm not picking up on his other paintings. He has done wonderful job, which many of us know. But I'm talking about particularly the D style movement, where he painted the grids and the very, very bright primary colors, and the effect of that was visible, from that point on, even today, onto various objects. We see the buildings here, getting inspired from Piet Mondrian. This is a bit direct application, but I picked that up because it's very easy to comprehend. To the products, every kind of product, interiors, furniture, dresses, shoes. Piet Mondrian has been, everywhere. And also this Rietveld, red and blue chair, Rietveld was also part of the day style movement. So he is also one of the leading, painter in the movement, and also the designer. It goes to the cars. This is the recent, not really far back, 2018. Vasily, the Russian architectural designer, he made series of cars. Actually, I'm just showing two. There's a lot of cars which are painted with the Piet Mondrian's grids. This just shows the confluence of the art and the design, or the products, or the artifacts that we use. Another one is little closer home, closer to mobility, the Art Deco and its influence on car design. So as we know, again, 1930s, 40s time frame, the Art Deco was very, very, prevalent, Art Nouveau. But Art Deco, touched cars, and it was very different for different fields. Like the graphic art of Art Deco is very different, the architecture is very different, and the cars were still very, very different. The aerodynamic, the streamlining, as you can see in these cars. 1939 ZIS 101 coupe. I'll show you a couple of more examples. 1939 Duesenberg coupe. This is considered to be one of the very, very most beautiful car in the world, till date. 1937 Talbot. And it goes to 1955, this Bentley Sultan. Very different kind of, body lines, very different kind of surface treatments, the way they flow in each other. So this is, we can see a very direct impact of the art movement or art into the design. And then cars or the mobility or the, they influence the art. And that has been an age old story. It is not really new. It is, ad infinitum again, as we saw from the Lasso paintings or the cave paintings to recent times. So this is 1940. Alan Fearnley, he particularly drew cars during that time, and very, very, he was very fascinated. And humankind has been fascinated with the car from many, many reasons. John Chamberlain. I have, picked up things which I like or I, came across, and I narrative. There are lots and lots of examples. One can entire the spend day, going through them. This is, a particular statement which which were to say that they are probably too full of themselves. And if we don't control them, they'll kind of be all over us. Interesting one, which these kind of things relate to Cartist, our theme of our discussion, by Argentinian artist in Miami Beach Festival. He made about 66 life-size cars out of sand. Another one, we have seen on this theme, several of the sculptures, but this one is interesting. Crazy Speed or Accident. This is in Gulf. Disintegrating by Fabian. These are photoshopped images, very meticulously done. But shows how the the disintegration happens. He was, as he put it, there's a enjoyment in the analysis, discovering something by taking it apart. Another one, Unstoppable Spirit, Rover's chief designer commissioned this particular sculpture in which a real car has been used. This one, makes a good statement. The automobile is part of the visual landscape, and many people are totally desensitized to its presence. I don't know whether we agree with that or not, but the artist thought so, and he has given a very, very different kind of color scheme to Mercedes, and make it very, very loud and be present. The cars are present. In my view, all in our environment, all through us. Something very similar, painting the car project was started by BMW in 1975, and they have had 20 painters appointed so far. And I picked up a couple of them who I like Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein. So these guys are um, really, really, fantastic, and all of them are very, acclaimed artists, particularly from UK. Like this one, Jeff Koons, David Hockney, Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein. He has designed a couple of swatches also, so he's a very, very, popular pop artist. then we cannot, we should, take a look at what futurists influence the trends, And I'll take a case of Sid Mead, particularly. And his art has influenced car design. He's an industrial designer from US and society at large. So his concept has been very, very influencing to many ways, directly, indirectly. And his films which have made in a Star Trek, Blade Runner, Tron, Aliens, or Space Odyssey, those have influenced us or influenced the car design quite a bit. So futurists play a huge role in deciphering what the society is going to be and what the cars would be, how the transportation would be. And some of it comes true. It's worth mentioning that car itself is a piece of art, and this was recognized by MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. Way back, I think 58, 60s onwards, they have been recognizing the car itself as a piece of art. And they have a number of objects which they have kept in their permanent display, which they say designed to transport the people or objects. So they have got cars there, bicycles there, airplanes and boats there. And these permanent objects, which are very, very prestigious to be part of MoMA, are permanently displayed there. And then they keep having the various kind of exhibitions in which they acquire certain vehicles and then they do around the vehicle exhibitions. So this is the permanent display of MoMA, where we can see Ferrari there, Beetle there. So number of vehicles which are on permanent display at MoMA. And of course the classic Vespa, my favorite. So I put that there. This is definitely a sheer joy to see that as an object which has influenced the minds of people forever. This whole dialogue about the art, and art influencing design, design influencing the mobility, or art influencing mobility, mobility influencing art, cannot be completed without talking about the popular art. And much of in the Cartist what we talk about is popular art. So I would like us to see some of the trucks, auto rickshaws, paddle rickshaws, which hugely influence the color schemes, the very, very so-called gaudy kind of and very, very bold color schemes which are used in the color in the truck art or some of these vehicle arts. And we will see some examples. Not that there's a dearth of them; they are around us. But the graphic sense of this, but the messages and the messaging around this is excellent, and it also again depicts the society. The quotes which are there. In fact, we read the two quotes here. All of you who can read Hindi, can read this. The meaning is same, but one is written in Urdu, another is more in Hindiized Hindi. So समय से पहले भाग से ज्यादा कभी नहीं मिलता. Similar thoughts. There is a stream of in the entire society. Maybe the right side could be Pakistan as well. Pakistan has very similar kind of, in fact, much more decorating the truck culture. So is Bangladesh, about the rickshaws, which we'll see in a while. And these things could be culminated into artifacts like the quilt we see here. You know, it could be this art can travel. Some of the rickshaws, which have been painted, this is not really the, I would say necessarily the popular art. This is a specific thing painted by people, because these rickshaws, once painted, probably cannot be used and fly on the road. So they are done for a purpose, like for Cartist, which we do. But these could be turned into graphics, and these graphics are very, very, much around us. And if you see the colors and the graphic sensibilities here are way different and way uh, overt in particularly with rickshaws. So there's something that fascinates us, something that we are interested in, and they come into various artifacts. So the cushions are easy prey, and especially the digital printing has made it very very quick to on the textiles to be used around us. I want to draw our attention to rickshaw art, particularly in Bangladesh. The rickshaw art is huge, much more, I think, exuberant than what we see in India, and it's truly the people's art. They're way more decorated rickshaws. We see something in Amitabh Bachchan there, and left and right is from Bangladesh. See the visual, not only imagination, but the themes, the visual execution, especially in the third one on the right. The birds there, birds being present on the canvas like material, and the painting on the sheet metal on the middle portion. See the amount of detailing which has gone there. And I was particularly enthused with one Mr. Samsu, his painting of rickshaw. This could mean this is surrealistic. I'm sure if Dali would have seen this, he would have taken it. There's a huge amount of surrealism which is going on there. I couldn't decipher the meanings for myself, just as yet. But I came across this off late, and it was very, very interesting to see this. And they are, largely done for the rickshaw. We can't but not omit ambassador. Ambassador has been on our mind and our imagery for ad infinitum. Even if it is stopped being produced, it continues to be driving our imaginations. He caricaturist from Bangalore. He's very fond of ambassador and drawing ambassadors, but many people are. His work is very eloquent around ambassadors. So are some of these contemporary artists. In fact, left one from Dhaka. I wanted to mention about one art car museum. There are many around the world, but this one is in Houston, Texas. Has got a very close motto to what we do in Cartist. So it is very similar. If you get a chance there, please visit this. There are very very eloquent pieces of art, car art, which are there. So we can see some of them. I have just included two. And of course the Cartist. So I consider it's one of the largest gathering of like-minded people of car art, internationally. So huge congratulations to Himanshu and Cartist team, which keeps driving this, and the supporters. Like you mentioned, we are one of them, but there are many supporters who have been patronizing the art, the car art. So, but it's very unique. I want us to take a minute to really recognize the fact that it's very huge art event, or event gathering, club, people coming together, whatever you may call it. And these yatras make a huge sense to drive the art ahead, especially the popular art. Our team, which is in Bangalore, TCS Design Studio, has made a number of contributions that Himanshu mentioned, but I would like to show some more beyond Cartist. So this is, as we are, as I said, we are applied artists, we are car designers, and art is, as we saw and as we know, the, flows in, in the vehicle design. So we need to have the eyes which can see the art, and we can appreciate the art. So this is from our day-to-day work. There's something known as Gaussian, you know, surface evaluation tool. When you turn that on, the car surfaces look like, not exactly like this, but when you see it from artistic mind, they appear like this. So simple thing in day-to-day life, art is everywhere. Then we design, wheels, and wheels are, definitely very celebrated object in a car, but they can turn into a sculpture. So these are the pieces coming out of wheels that have turned into sculpture. And these are digital images, that we have plonked them into the environment, and they are rendered. There's some more examples. So imagine these being as fine sculptures around us, or maybe the object of use or artifacts of use around us, done by our team. Another thing that we did in the Cartist Yatra in 2017, when they were in Bangalore, and that's what Himanshu was mentioning, we made car sculpture of car parts, the scrap parts, from various cars, and assembled them together to create this, the humanoid, which is saying world went too far, life is like a program, only time to spend for Instagram. We are the robo who lives but not, have everything but nothing, only realizes after the time passes. A beautiful poem written by one of our teammate to symbolize the particular humanoid art. We also did some paintings, live paintings there on car hoods. So we had a couple of Corvette hoods, and which we actually painted on to turn them into. So Corvette by itself is a piece of art, and then we added value to that. And then 2019 again, the team made a huge sculpture. It comes from the wheel that we see on the right side. Again, piece of wheel, the spoke turns into falcon and ready to fly. So and with the tremendous imagination of the team there to for the color scheme, the graphic scheme, what the right size to choose, the right scale to choose, the proportions. So it becomes much more celebrated, bigger than life than a mere spoke of a wheel. This is all I had. We stand in solidarity with Cartist, and we are definitely in solidarity with car art and design. So good luck to the Cartist, further sessions, further online yatra that is going on right today, or the event going on, and not only today, next 2 more days. So thanks Cartist team for this opportunity to share my ideas, and good luck to you all, and enjoy.